It's funny when you think about it. We see the big materials that build our world, right? Steel, wood, concrete. But what about the invisible ones? The workhorses that are literally everywhere, but we never give them a second thought. Well, today, we're going to unpack one of the most important plastics you've probably never even heard of. It's a material that connects some of the most random objects in your life.
So let's just start with a question. What on earth could your car's bumper, something designed to take a hit, have in common with that little yogurt container in your fridge? I mean, they seem like they're from completely different planets, but nope, they share a secret ingredient, a really high-performance one.
And that secret is polypropylene copolymer. The best way to think about it is like a high-performance remix of a standard plastic. You take a regular polypropylene, which is already pretty useful, and you engineer it to be way tougher, more flexible, and just better, more resistant to impacts and chemicals. This is the stuff that makes a car bumper strong enough for a fender bender, but also safe and light enough for your food.
But okay, this isn't just some cool science project. This material is a massive, massive global business. So let's get into the numbers, because they really show you the sheer scale of this invisible industry.
Let's just start with right now. In 2024, the global market for this one type of plastic is worth nearly $60 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That's a huge number for something most of us don't even know by name.
And that number isn't just sitting still. The market is growing at what's called a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of over 5%. You can just think of this as the engine behind the growth, It's steadily pushing the whole industry forward year after year. So where is that engine taking us? Well, the projection is pretty clear. By 2032, the market is expected to hit almost $90 billion. That's a leap of nearly $30 billion in just 8 years. That tells you the demand for this stuff is powerful, and it is not slowing down. So, the $90 billion question is, who's buying all of this? I mean, where is all this demand actually coming from? Let's take a look at the key industries that are fueling this incredible boom.
Right now, there is one undisputed champion, packaging. It takes up a massive 39% of the entire market. We're talking food containers, bottle caps, all those flexible films you see. It just makes sense. It's lightweight, it's tough, and it's great at keeping moisture out. It's the perfect choice.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. It's kind of like a tale of two titans. Packaging is the champ right now, for sure. But the automotive sector, that's the fastest grower. Car makers are absolutely obsessed with swapping out heavier metals for these plastics to make cars lighter and more fuel efficient. You'll find it in bumpers, door panels, dashboards, everywhere. So, the big takeaway here? Keep an eye on the auto industry. That's where the future growth is really going to explode.
Now, this isn't just a story about one country or one region. It is a full-on global power play. So let's zoom out and map where the real hotspots are for making and using this stuff around the world.
And wow, when you look at the global map, one area just burns so much brighter than the rest. The Asia-Pacific region controls over half the global market. We're talking almost 56%. It is the undisputed epicenter of this industry, thanks to its huge manufacturing base and all its petrochemical plants. And if we drill down a little, you can see some interesting things happening. In the Asia-Pacific, China is the production powerhouse, but India is where the consumer market is growing like crazy. What's really interesting, though, is that North America is actually the fastest-growing region overall. And then you have Europe, where the conversation is all about sustainability and recycling, thanks to some really strict regulations.
And the companies running the show, they're from all over the place. We've got giants from the Netherlands, 2 huge players from China, 1 from Saudi Arabia, and another from Brazil, and that's just the top 5. It really shows you just how competitive and how global this market really is.
But look, it's not all smooth sailing. The industry faces this one constant, nagging problem. Raw material prices are all over the map. Because these plastics come from things like propylene, their cost is tied directly to the crazy volatile prices of crude oil and natural gas. And that creates a ton of uncertainty for everybody.
And you know what? That very challenge, combined with all the growing pressure to be more eco-friendly, is pushing the industry toward its next big thing. The future of polypropylene copolymers is looking really, really green.
I mean, this quote from a market analysis report just nails it. The entire industry is shifting its focus. It's not just about performance and cost anymore. Now it's all about creating materials that are sustainable and recyclable, things that can fit into a circular economy.
So how do they actually do that? Well, there are basically 3 main paths they're going down. First, get better at mechanical recycling. You know, the traditional way where you melt plastic down and reuse it. Second, push forward with chemical recycling, where you break plastics all the way down to their basic molecules to make brand new material. And third, and this one's a big one, develop bio-based versions from renewable stuff to cut our reliance on fossil fuels.
And listen, this isn't just a bunch of talk. It's happening right now. You've got LyondellBasell already selling products made from recycled waste for cars. You've got Borealis and Total Energies teaming up to scale chemical recycling. And then you have ExxonMobil creating new plastics that are just as strong but use less material to begin with. The point is, the biggest players are all in, and they are investing serious money to make this green shift happen.
So that brings us to the big, final question here. Demand for this invisible, absolutely essential material is not going anywhere. It's woven into the fabric of modern life. So the challenge and the opportunity are exactly the same. As the world demands more and more of it, can the industry innovate fast enough to close the loop and make it truly circular? That's the question that's going to define the next decade for this nearly $90 billion industry.